I'll burn the pancakes and probably the house too, but baby, it's stuck to me like glue.
Hello, Peeperonis. Welcome to episode 6, part 2. Thanks for stopping by. For those of you who are coming back from part 1, buckle up your seats because it's going to be a productive and bumpy ride. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, you might want to take a listen to part 1 first, or you might end up extremely lost and make a very wrong turn. We're going to dive right into episode 2 with this one explaining in a little more detail what it is like going through a transition of a disheartening breakup. Relatable, right? As some of us know, grief and pain comes in many different forms, in no particular order, and sometimes you have to go through multiple stages of grief over and over again until you're finally able to release and or let go. As individuals, we go through forms of pain and grief from anger to sadness to denial and depression and bargaining. We do whatever we can as humans to survive it and get through. Unfortunately, some of us don't make it to the end. That's the worst part. But there is another side. I just hope for all of you lost lovers and dream chasers out there that you get to find what you're looking for. And life isn't just what society tells you, but what you hope, dream, pray, and believe it can be for you. Specifically, you. And there's only one way to find out, right? I know I want to thrive for the curiosity in me and see what lies ahead. I'm with you. So let's find out together. On that note, let's dive right into part 2.
Oh, you really can't ask Google anything. So the moment I send these messages, it says seen, read, played in blue. And every indication online is like, oh no, he's seen it and he's played it. And then the other indication is like, oh, well, he must just have the screen open or he's like looking at the phone immediately. And I was like, yeah, that means like the other day he would have been like reading the message at 4 a.m. Or that must have been meant that like he's staring at the screen so obsessively that he's like reading and responding. You're not. So I'm blocked. So now that I know I'm blocked, like this is awesome for me because then I don't have to picture you as some delicate snowflake that is so weak that he keeps me unblocked to be validated, but he hates me, which isn't an insult for me because that means you hate yourself that much. And I'm like, well, I must be blocked because behaviorally in the past, if I messaged you, you would just message me in rage and say horrible things immediately. But now you don't say anything at all. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I probably am blocked. So yay. You didn't get to hear any of this. That's fucking awesome. Which means I was able to get over you on my own. Fucking fantastic. It's about fucking time. You know, my therapist was saying, you got to feel how you feel. You have to not villainize him. And if it's going to take you a while to get over him, then that's what you have to do. Because she said it's taking you longer because you keep trying to push him away. You keep trying not to love him, and it's making you love him more. And I was like, what the actual fuck? I'm like, that's so fucked up. I said to my therapist, I was like, you have no idea how much I tried to think of him or not think of him as different tactics to get over him. I said, nothing fucking works. I think the last final thing that helps me let go of you or will help me let go of you, and this is the big one. This is the main one. This is literally it. My dad's an avoidant. My mom is emotionally unstable and mentally ill. My dad told me for the first time in his life yesterday, at 70 years old, he didn't think he had to raise me. He didn't think a father figure was important because his dad died at 8. And so he said, yeah, you're right, Evelyn. I let your mom raise you because I didn't think it was important for me to be your dad. And I thought to myself, did my dad really just say that? So my dad was an avoidant, you know? He was under the same roof as me. He just wasn't present. And both of my parents never went to therapy, never worked on themselves, never tried to grow, never tried to be better. They just isolated themselves their whole life. My dad would go to work and he would come home and be with my mom. He would not have friends. He would not engage at the outside world other than his profession and my mom. You know, every like 5 years or so, he might talk to like a college friend over the phone for an hour, but like, you know, no relationships really outside of like my family. And my mom is just like a fucked up, broken, sad human being. And half my family doesn't know if she's literally mentally ill and literally crazy, or if she's just like a raging bitch and like a princess personality and, you know, is very entitled and narcissistic. Like nobody really knows because she never got tested. But the point is, like, both my parents were very isolated and they didn't get out much. They didn't have other circles and, you know, they didn't care about growth and development. It's just not in their wheelhouse. They have no awareness. You could tell them something and they're like, that's not true. My dad's a hoarder, like massive fucking hoarder. He's like, no, I'm not. Or it doesn't matter. I was like, hey, you don't see mom is ill from this hoarding and you don't see that like I don't come over or I couldn't invite people over when I was young. You didn't like notice that people weren't coming over because they didn't feel comfortable. He didn't think it mattered. Anyways, so what's my point? My point is my dad does love me. He's just dysfunctional. And so I think it was hard for me to let you go because I was like, I think he loves me. I just think he's dysfunctional. And I think the problem I'm having in my current life now is that I did go 180. I went from being anxious attachment to I don't give a fuck. Oh, you don't like that I said something and you think it was insensitive, but it was true, but it was insensitive. And you just didn't like that I said it because you wanted me to lie to your face. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, obviously, I'm not trying to be a bitch, so I'll just like walk away. Okay, bye. Like, I don't know. I just have that kind of attitude now. I've worked so much on myself and being like, again, this is probably not healthy, but I'm like hyper independent. I'm like hyper aware of my actions and my thoughts and my behaviors. And I don't know if it was like a perfectionist mindset or the pain you literally have caused in my life and me trying to understand and learn and figure it out. You're not the only one that made me come up with this concept. But how many times have you heard a love dynamic where they're like, you can't just love someone after so many years and not love them anymore and like it never happened? Like you've heard shit like that before. Like, you know, you didn't invent that. I don't know. I wanted so badly to understand because I couldn't understand how someone would say they loved you or wanted you to leave their relationship, but like didn't actually like mean that. I was like, can someone play you that hard? And I think if I stop romanticizing you and I look at the facts, you never actually gave me a reason to think that I could leave. When I fucking bought you a plane ticket with your name on it, and I paid for your half of an Airbnb, and then you were just like mad about something, or if you were avoidant and had too many fucking emotions, you were like, yeah, I'm not going to go on the trip. And I was like, I'm sorry, what do you mean you're not going to go on a trip? Like, I'm sorry, do you not know that I'm frugal and I make less money than you and I just paid $2,000 just for your portion alone to go on this trip to see if we could like be together in the same vicinity for this long and like try to make it work? For me, that was like, okay, if he goes on this trip to Spain with me, I'm going to see like how we work together and how we operate together. That was kind of like me being like, yeah, I'm going to get the fuck out of this relationship. And you fucking bailed. And not only did you bail, but you didn't like pay me back. You knew I spent the money. You knew I couldn't get that money back. You knew I didn't have travel insurance. And you're like, yeah, I don't care. You never said sorry. You never made it up to me. You never reimbursed me the money. You just didn't fucking care. Like, what? That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. Everything was wonderful in person, but for like 60%, no, like 80% of the time when I wasn't with you and we had to rely on phone calls or FaceTimes or text messages, you couldn't communicate. You did not fucking communicate. And then on top of that, it had to be your way, your schedule, when you wanted to hang out, or I would not get to see you. And I'm like, shit, I gotta like throw around all these plans because if I don't say yes right now, it might be another 6 months before I see him again. Those are the types of thoughts I had in my head. What the fuck? You thought that guy loved you and liked you? He couldn't even like work with you. There's a strange possibility that you did love me. You just didn't know how to show it. You couldn't be what I needed, which, doesn't make you a bad guy. It just means we weren't good for each other. It sounds so silly to say, but I watched this movie, Funny Girl, with Barbara Streisand. God, I love Barbara. I love her music. It's gut-wrenching. My song for you was always My Man by Barbara Streisand. But Funny Girl like changed my life when I saw it a couple months ago again as an adult. And I was like screaming at the TV. I was like, Barbara, he loves you. That wasn't the question. You could have never loved anything more in your life and you loved him so goddamn much. You were like in awe. Like you couldn't believe how much you loved him. You couldn't believe it was real. And he fucking loved you, man. That's the amazing part. He loved you back. You had a kid with him. You got married. You had this huge life with him. You finally did it. You got with him. But he couldn't stop gambling. He couldn't work on himself. He had too much pride. He had too much ego. And because of that, and because he cared more about his pride and ego and his insecurities, that the relationship died. They could not make it work. They had this whole fucking life together and they loved each other immensely. But he didn't know how to love her. He couldn't step away from his own fucking issues and try to work on it, like genuinely work on it, to make the relationship work. And I thought it was one of the most tragic love stories I've ever seen. And I think that in part too is why it was hard for me to get over you. I was like, dude, he probably does love you. He just literally is not capable of loving you in the way that you need. And on one hand, yeah, there's a lot of things I could oversee and overlook and I can work with. There's a lot of deal breakers that I have currently present day, and you don't really fit most of those deal breakers. But like, if you don't even want to work with me, if you don't want to meet in the middle, if you don't want to be a partner, if you don't want to like how the fuck could I ever have you be my partner or the father of my child if like I can't even talk to you? Literally, right now, sending you messages and I can't talk to you. Hello, wake up call. Make it make sense, Evelyn. Modern day Evelyn, present day Evelyn. I have a couple. I'm not even joking when I say this. One is penis size. It sounds like fucked up, but it's true. I can't be with a small penis. It's just like, I can't do it. I can't. You can't make me. You can't. But realistically, my biggest deal breaker is communication. And it blows my mind because I'm like, present day Evelyn is like, no, I've tried to make it work in the last couple of years with a couple guys that were avoidance and couldn't communicate and said, I love you, I love you, I love you, I like you, I like you, I like you. You're so wonderful, you're so sweet, you're so great. But you're not going to hear from me for 3 days or 3 weeks or 3 months because I have issues and I know I'm an asshole and I know you deserve better and I have all these issues and things in my childhood, but I don't want to work on them. But I'm trying, but I'm going as fast as I can. But yes, it's been 2 years and I know and blah, blah, blah. Like, these are the types of things they say to me. And I was like, so you have the awareness of what you're doing wrong. You don't blame me for being mad. You understand where I'm coming from, but you still don't want to change? You still don't want to work on it? And they're like, yeah, no. And I'm like, God damn. Like, that's crazy. Like, you know, I'm irreplaceable and that I'm very valuable. And you don't want to like try to hold on to me? And they're like, yeah, I can. I'm like, what do you mean you can't? You mean you won't? And they're like, no, I can't. I'm like, what the fuck? There's this guy I tango with, and I think I've really kind of like changed his life in a lot of ways. But it's just sad because when you look at his life, he makes over $200K a year. He has his own business. He's got a property. Like, he's doing well for himself. But the type of life and lifestyle that he created for himself just to avoid personal growth or just to avoid vulnerability or being uncomfortable, especially when it comes to intimacy and communication. Oh my God. Oh my God. This guy, I mean, I said this about you, but I guess I could say it about him now too. This guy would rather poke his eye out than be intimate. He's like literally deathly afraid of it. And I was like, you're a fucking psych major? And you went to therapy for the cult you were raised in, like, I don't know, 20 years ago? And you're like, yeah, I'm fine. I don't need any more growth. I don't need any more therapy. I'm good now. I like the way my life is. I'm like, no, you don't, bro. And he really doesn't. He just convinces himself of that. And he'll come back around, then he'll come back around. But I got to the point and I was like, dude, bro, like, you're toxic. Like, we're toxic together. Like, this is not healthy. Yeah, I know. But then he keeps coming back. But then I changed along the way. And I was like, bro, I have to be with someone who can communicate. I have to. You can be avoidant. You can want space. I can give you space. But that's not the fucking problem. I can't work with someone who doesn't talk out how they feel. Or if there's a miscommunication, talk about the miscommunication. Like, I can't do it. Me personally, I cannot do it. You could be a millionaire. You could have a 15-inch dick. You could be very loyal and kind and generous and sensitive and loving and all the other bullcrap things like women want in guys. You could have it all. But if you didn't fucking communicate, then I'd be like, well, sorry. It's my personal deal breaker. So here I am telling you this because it's like, I have moved on from you. It's just, you had a special place in my heart where I thought you were the exception to the rule or that you were different. And, you know, you hear those things like, it doesn't matter if you like them. Like, I don't want to force you to like me. Fuck that shit. Yeah, I want you to be happy. And if you're happy not with me, okay. And then you hear these people, oh, some people block. You might be blocked because he might be afraid of seeing you with another guy, or maybe he's really insecure in these departments and he feels like you're with all these other guys. I'm like, well, I'm fucking not. And that's a pretty fucking extreme way to be. You're giving him a lot of credit. You think he can't just ask me if I'm seeing someone? He can't just trust that I'm not cheating on him? Now I'm realizing that maybe that's triggering to you because what, the girl before me or whatever you were engaged to and she left you for your best friend and you lost both of them? Well, the sad, fucked up reality is not all people are going to do that to you. I'm not your ex-fiance. And I'm not your best friend that fucked you over. And have you treated every fucking woman that ever dared come close to you like that? Because until you fix that, no one will make you happy. No one can compare. And the sadder part is you probably still love that woman, even though she's happily moved on. I don't know. It's just theoretically speaking. And I'm like, God damn. So why the fuck is he judging me so harshly? If that girl were to come back tomorrow and say, hey, I left your old best friend, you want to be together? I don't want to put words in your mouth anymore. But I feel like I knew your soul enough to kind of understand some things about you. But then how sad is it that you had to jump to your own conclusions? And arguably, it's fine if I jump to my own conclusions because you're not telling me any different. I mean, you could just like tell me straight up and then I'm like, oh yeah, that was the truth. But when someone says, I'm going to block you here now as well, don't ever contact me again. First off, that's literally counterintuitive. If you're blocking me, it doesn't matter if I reach out because you're not going to see it. You made sure of that. And then if you said you're going to block me, but you didn't actually block me, then yeah, why would I listen to anything you say? Because obviously it's not true. I don't even need to defend myself to you anymore because, like, you have loved in the past. So how much can you fucking hate me for that? How many years have I said, dude, just have a fucking conversation with me and let's talk it out? But what, you're so insecure and so much of a coward and so much of a snowflake that you're like, I can't handle that. Emotions, overwhelming, overload. Ah! And for a while, I had to get to the point where I was like, oh, is he this like cute little puppy dog? And he really wasn't a player. He was just the sweet, sensitive guy on the outside. And oh, look at that sweet little boy. Like, that's how I started like looking at you for a while. And I was like, ew. If that was him, Evelyn, like, like if you felt like you couldn't even like be real with him and have a conversation with him because you thought he would, like, his ego would snap in half like a fucking twig, it was that he never felt like he could be himself around you and vice versa. And in reality, present day, if you were that insecure, I wouldn't be able to be with you because I'd be like, I wouldn't be able to handle it. I'd be like, dude, work on your shit. I love you, even if you didn't, but work on your shit for your sake and mine. That sounds a little harsh, but you know, it's just your heartbreak taught me so much. And again, I really don't like that I went to this like opposite where now I feel like I'm a bitch all the time. Not a bitch, an asshole. It's two different words. I don't like feeling like an asshole. But then again, I just feel like a lot of people just chose to never work on themselves. And in my 20s, I was like, man, hurry up. Everybody's figuring this shit out except for you. And then I had to go through all this shit where I hit rock bottom and I was like, nobody's ever hit rock bottom like this. And then somewhere along the line, people got dumber and dumber, no common sense, stopped working on themselves, plateaued, stayed the same. And I just kept rising and rising and rising and rising and rising and rising. And I'm just like, God damn, I can't even see you guys from down below. You know, people say you wouldn't be where you are now if it wasn't for who you were in your past. That's a scary thought. And I did have a love and belief system that people could come back. What, you're going to tell me the world is so narrow-minded that people can't come back, that people can still love you and be avoidance or be insecure? Yeah, insecure people can love people too. Shit, I did for a long time. Well, we're going to go around telling people how they need to act and think and behave and do these 5 life steps, and then you'll find your person. Or if someone talks to you this way, they feel this way about you. Like, oh my God. That's why I got off fucking social media. I'm like, this shit ain't good. Way to fuck up with people's brains. God, I hate social media. God, I fucking hate it. Just like breeds like all evil, bad, negative things. I won't even get into that. Anyways, my outlet's going to be my podcast. I'm hopefully going to be publishing in a week or two. I think that'll be good for me. Do I really need to be sending you these messages anymore? Or should I actually put it in a podcast where people want to hear what I have to say and want to comment and want to engage? Because this shit's good material. And I'm like giving it to someone who's, oh, she's not going to know I'm listening, or not listening at all. Fuck that shit. I'm over that shit. I love you. I will always love you. But I have acknowledged that it ain't going to work. I wish you well. I don't want to convince you anymore that it's a good idea. If you couldn't have figured that out on your own, then yeah, that shit's never going to work. I really did have a belief system that there was something you weren't telling me, and that you really, really fucking loved me, and that I wasn't blocked and you were listening to all of these messages and that you cared. But it doesn't matter, because reality is right in front of me saying otherwise. You don't want to take the chance. And that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means it's not going to work out. I mean, you are kind of a fucked up asshole human being. There's some really fucked up shit you've done. No, I haven't done anything in comparison to what you've done to me. So honestly, hit me with your best fucking shot. What did I actually do to hurt you that you haven't done to me 50 times fucking worse? All right, calm down the hatred. Emotion, pain. That's what it is. One thing that I think is really sad about the hurt that you caused me is that just like you and your ex-fiance, I have guys that are trying to woo me now. And I can't fucking take them seriously. I'm like, my standards are so fucking high. I don't want my precious time to be wasted. I don't want someone to try to dare fucking play with me or hurt me. And I think across the board, I say this to the players and I say this to the good guys. It's like I'll say this to anybody and a whole spectrum in between. I'm not ready to date anybody. It really sucks because the older you get, you're going to be like, oh my God, am I really this age? And like, I'm not with anybody. I'm like in my fucking prime and I'm not getting laid and going on dates and all this shit. But that's by choice. 99 is not a good match. And if that means it's going to take me longer to find the right one, then fucking so be it. At least now I'm confident and love myself on my own, that it's just going to be a big fat bonus when the right person comes along. I want to be with somebody now. I want to be with somebody in my 30s. I want to be with somebody in general. But again, like wanting something that much and the off chance you don't get it, that pain is so fucking unbearable. And for someone like me who's passionate, I can't do that again. You broke my heart so fucking bad that I've become jaded. Not even jaded. It's like I won't even give guys the chance. My walls are up so fucking high that I like sabotage the relationship the beginning it starts. Well, I don't sabotage it. It's just like it's on such a high pedestal for me, my standards in my head and what I want and what I love. I'm like, there's no way anybody can measure up to that. On this podcast earlier, it was saying heartbreak is hard because when you do have that one love that just like tears you apart, you never really get a love like that again. And I think that's another reason why I held on. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So it's like people are saying in life, you only get one love, or lightning doesn't strike twice, or these are the rules and regulations of life, and this is how it works. And I just defy that. I'm just like, what? You're telling me life is that narrow-minded when there are so many different billions of people and different cultures and schedules and like lifestyles on this earth, and you're gonna tell me that like someone can't come back? Like, that's so narrow-minded. You're gonna tell me you only get 3 great loves in this world, but the last one is the one that finds you and da 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 da. It's all such bullshit. And I wanted to understand life so fucking badly so that I could do it right and do it well. And life is like, no, I don't really work that way. You're not going to understand it at all. And it's going to be complete chaos and pain and suffering. But I'll give you little snippets of joy and excitement, and you're going to like live for those. I'll never regret being with you or liking you or loving you. Again, it's just sad that like my belief system about love wasn't true. My belief about having a partnership with you is not right. I was wrong. What I believed, it didn't matter what was in my head. It didn't matter what was in my heart. It didn't matter what was in my spirit. I was wrong. And I think to myself, well, if I was fucking wrong, then like, when am I right? When do I know when it's right? If I thought that was right, when the fuck will it be right? You know, I'm not the only people that have these type of thoughts. I'm not the only person who thinks these type of things. It's just frustrating. Like I'm starting to notice with older age that like some people just literally are not capable of some things. And I'm like, what do you mean you're not capable? That doesn't make any sense. What do you mean you can't send a text message from the privacy of your house 150 miles away in San Diego? What do you mean you can't ship back my phone? What do you mean you can't pick up the phone? Okay, what do you mean you can't send an audio message back, covered up in blankets at your house, on a drive somewhere? Like, oh, I don't want to talk to her. I'm such a this kind of person. Whether it's respect or fear or love or whatever the fuck reason you do the things that you do for. A phone call, sure. If you were like super coward and insecure, maybe a phone call is too intimidating for you. And then I'm like picturing this fucking CEO of this new company being like the weakest person on the planet. And I'm like, that math doesn't add up. But then, you know, you think of people like Elon Musk, who like richest man in the world, can do all of these things, but then he can't hold down a relationship to save his life. And all of his relationships are extremely unhealthy. Well, it's like you're good in one category, you're not good in another category. I mean, I guess you can't expect perfection in all avenues of your life. I think any of us can say that about us. But like, I didn't understand, like, okay, he can't send me a letter. He can't call me. Well, it's not even that he can't. He's not capable of it, apparently, obviously. But like an audio message, you don't have to wait for me to respond. I won't talk back. You could block me after. But like, you don't even try to find a way to make it work in any way that makes you comfortable. Again, obviously, it's like you actually like do hate me and wish me dead, because I don't think you're that much of a, because that's like impossible, right? But again, the sad thing is I've gone through so much like trauma and shit in the last 5 years, let alone my childhood. after everything that happened to me, I guess the tactic of moving on was like, hey, you either fall into a fetal position and cry and become homeless and be really weak and be in therapy 3 times a week for 4 hours a day in these settings and like can't hold down a normal job because you're like a victim, or you put on a harder shell, you put on a harder shell, you get stronger, you get stronger, you get braver, you get braver, you push through, you push through. And I mean, this one's at least like functional the way I'm doing it. But like, I am starting to see like signs of me that I've never seen before, where I'm just like, are you an asshole, Evelyn? Are you being a bitch? Are you not being sensitive to other people? In my 20s, I was an empath and a people pleaser, and everybody else's opinions mattered more than mine. But like, I'm the exact opposite now, and it kind of freaks me out. Because I'm like, is this who I was supposed to be? I feel kind of like a dick. And then I tell myself, you just need a masculine man who's confident. He can handle you. If you had a masculine, confident, secure man, I wouldn't have to be doing all this explaining. I wouldn't have to be chasing somebody. It would feel secure. I'm not too much, not to the right people. And I think it just really scares me because I've worked on myself so fucking much that I lost sight that other people aren't on the same path as me, aren't trying to work as much on themselves. There's a lot of people that are. They're just not around me. And it's hard when it's your family. But like, you don't want to be around your family because they're so dysfunctional. And because of their dysfunction, it's like borderline abusive. Even as an adult, like, okay, I'm not getting hit anymore. But like, no, parents and family probably shouldn't talk to me that way. The fact that I can't use my emergency contact, like nobody in my family could be an emergency contact. They either don't answer the phone, they're in their own little world, or whatever. I mean, it's just, I've had to become this person where like only I can take care of myself. And that's what the world kind of made me. Evelyn, you're going to get fucked over by these street hooligans at the last place you lived at. And when you go to cops for help after you've been raped, they're going to say, well, did you have a camera inside of your house documenting it? No. Well, then I guess you didn't get raped. You don't have proof. Yeah, there's nothing in your house, but you can't prove that you were robbed. I'm like, you wanted me to have a camera on the inside of my house to prove that this happened? That's how the law works. And then it wasn't until 6 months later where somebody told me about those rape kit tests. They're like, why didn't you take a rape kit test? I was like, what the fuck is that? And then they told me about it. And I was like, why didn't a cop fucking suggest that? That would have been fucking proof right there. I didn't fucking know about it at the time. Our law is fucked up. I got more mad at law enforcement for not protecting me or helping me or giving me justice than the guy that actually did what he did. Because it's like you expect more, you know? I don't know. I've seen some fucked up shit in the last couple years. And it makes you have kind of a hardened heart. And it's like, well, am I jaded or did I just see the world literally different than before? Wow, sorry, that took a turn. Jesus. Let me end on this note. I was listening to this podcast earlier and they were talking about how love is kind of like a form of an addiction or a drug. And I had this kind of beautiful thought, which was, I really liked the life I had in the past. But ironically, I was like dead inside and miserable. I didn't know how to get away from I didn't know how to get closer to It's like I was doing everything backwards and everything wrong. And love kind of always felt like a drug to me. It was like, oh, great, I don't need drugs. Let me just be in love with this like awesome guy who I'm super into, who likes hiking and rock climbing and jazz and always has the romantic music playing when I come over and offering me some wine. Could take a stroll and it feels amazing. Go on a bike ride and it feels amazing. Look into each other's eyes and not even say anything, and it's like amazing. Like a simple life with you is everything. I was like, man, you don't need anything. Just this simple, beautiful life. But I was so highly addicted to cannabis to cope with living a dual life and not being true to myself, doubting myself, letting other people speak for me or make decisions for me. And I remember coming off of cannabis the first time thinking, like, I can't do this. Reality sucks. Like, reality is not okay. You gotta be a little inebriated. Life is fucking tough and dangerous and scary and emotional and all these different things. Like, I can't deal with life, reality. You want me to live in reality completely sober? Are you fucking crazy? And then I think about myself now, who's like totally sober. And I think to myself, why do you want to live in a fantasy world, which you didn't want to be a fantasy, but why are you living in this world where you think still loves you and he doesn't even fucking talk to you? You haven't talked to him in 5 fucking years. You haven't had an actual conversation or seen his face in 5 years. I'm not saying please leave me alone to end quotes. I'm saying a fucking conversation, a dialogue between two people, reconciliation, resolution, whatever. You don't want to live in that world. You don't want that. And I thought to myself this crazy thought, Evelyn, you want to live in reality. You want the actions to speak louder than words, but you also want you want to be with somebody who can communicate, who shows you that they care, who tells you that they care, someone who's around, someone who's appreciating you. And in reality, you can see that. You don't have to feel it. You don't have to wonder it. You don't have to guess it because it's right the fuck in front of you. And you see this person trying. You see this person caring. You hear this person trying. You hear this person caring. Reality in your bubble, in your world, in the one that's actually physically in view. That's the world I want to live in. I want to live in reality. I don't want to live in this twin flame astrology world, Jesus Christ superstar world, paranormal whatever world. I feel in my heart and in my spirit and my soul that he's thinking or believing or feeling this. That's not reality. It could be for you, but that's the funny thing is that's your reality. All of that could be true. But are you telling me that? Are you sitting over there silently suffering, going, she doesn't know that she's unblocked, right? But she doesn't know that I'm like looking at this still, right? I don't want to guess anymore. Like, I don't want to live in a world where you gotta smoke all the time. I want to live in a world where you can be sober and your reality is beautiful. So I'm going to make my reality beautiful. I've got my cat who loves me. I've got my condo, which I'm safe and it's quiet. Oh my God, and I fucking own it. Fuck yeah. No other name on the deed. No aid from other people. Like, I have a condo because I worked hard for it and I bought it. No one gave me anything. No one helped me through the process at all, except for my realtor and my loan officers. Such a crazy disparity that I miss the life I used to have in my past. But yet I was coping so hard and didn't know how to live and was chasing after this guy that didn't love me at all. Or it was fleeting. And I would smoke and I smoked and I smoked and I felt better. And it was great to escape life. It was great to relax and unwind and not be in reality for a minute. And here I am. I want to live in reality. I want to see and hear something. I don't need to have faith in the unseen. I want to live in a world that is right in front of me. It's just kind of a interesting concept. It's wild to me. I have things I'm working on. I got to figure out this guy that he's a nice guy. I don't like that he's 5-6 years younger than me. That part I don't love. I don't like that he doesn't have good financial management skills. God damn. I don't like that he lives with his fucking parents, even though that's like culturally, supposedly a thing that like all of them do. But is that me being avoidant? Is that me having my guard up? Is that me not giving him a chance because I liked something else in the past? Is that me not trying to give someone a chance? I don't know. Or is it me just being super smart and I'm like, no, it's another one that's not going to work out. But I'd rather it come to me this time. That way nobody gets hurt on my end. Because I would never do to someone else what you've done to me. Ever. And if someone was very, like, sensitive and said, Evelyn, you broke my heart into a million pieces, I'd be like, okay, let's talk about it. I'm not going to be with you anymore, but let's talk about it because you deserve that. And if I have to play an audio message for that person as the last thing I ever said when I broke up with them, I'd be like, no, I'm not an asshole. Listen to this message I sent them. It's in their phone. Please leave me alone. After 10 years, that's all I'm ever going to say to you. I keep giving you closure, but you don't seem to get it. I don't like you even a little. Don't ever contact me again. I'm going to block you here now as well. I really got to meditate on that new concept, me being okay living in reality. That's kind of like a beautiful life piece, I think. I am concerned about how I'm going to let people in the future. I don't know if I can. Honestly, the pain I experienced with you is so fucking astronomical, not the way other people have experienced pain. But yeah, maybe loving something so fucking much to where you're fucking destroyed if you don't have it is maybe not a good thing. And then you just think about life differently. Well, then what even fucking matters? If what's in your heart, spirit, and head aren't true, are lying to you, then what now? You know, I think I am done sending you messages because I can just put this in a fucking podcast, talk about how I feel, and people that give a damn will engage. But you don't get the enjoyment of having these private messages anymore that you are hearing or not hearing, even though it fucking says that you're reading it and hearing it and seeing it. Really doesn't matter. I am going to focus on other outlets, just as I've already been doing. God, you know that White Flag song from Ditto? Whatever her name is. Such a weird band name. Swear to God, every single fucking lyric of that song was how I felt about you. Every single fucking little fucking lyric. There's that line where she's like, I could have not, what was it? I could have not told you how I felt, but I still would have felt it. Where's the sense in that? Man. Tell me about it. And I don't like all those new age talk where people are like, if you have to convince someone to love you, it's not. Yes, I understand. It was never about convincing you to love me. It was about believing a different story. But like, don't believe in something that's not working for you anymore. So yeah, I lost my faith and belief system, but that's okay. Like, I'm not destroyed over it. My mom would be. Jesus fucking Christ. She would be if she lost her faith. It was hard at first, but I'm okay now. Whether I was blocked or you actually heard this. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen. I love you. Bye. Good luck to you.